Hello everyone, watching the Green Dream Project, and we're here today with Serena from Ecoasis Sustainable Living Center. How's it going?
It's going very good. Thank you for being here.
I wanted to find out a little bit more about what you guys are doing out here, and I wanted to let people know exactly what you guys are doing out here.
Okay, well thank you. The Ecoasis Sustainable Living Center is a project that's nonprofit under our larger corporation called Community Synergy Solutions, and we are a sustainable community development corporation. Our mission at CSSC is to improve and sustain community and environmental health along the U.S.-Mexico border region of Cochise County. We do that by leveraging grassroots organizations and putting combined efforts towards sustainable community development projects. So the Ecoasis Sustainable Living Center is one project. We also have community gardens that we operate, and we do an annual health fair. Ecoasis has four main parts. We have a cafe. It's mainly grab and go. We do have a little bit of seating, but we serve healthy, organic, locally sourced food, sandwiches, smoothies. We have a coffee espresso bar. Our coffee is all fair trade from a local roaster, Cafe Cultiva. We also do a soup and salad bar every day. It's self-serve, and we're growing food for the cafe and the market in our greenhouse. That's kind of just getting started, but the goal is to grow all of our own greens and lettuce in our greenhouse through aquaponics. So speaking of that, a greenhouse is another aspect. It's the second department we have. We have a 25 by 36 square foot greenhouse, and that was the vision of a young man named Ian Drophy, and he came to Community Synergy Solutions with the idea to write a grant to buy a greenhouse to do an employee-owned business. And he wanted those employees that ran it and owned it to be low-income and poor people, primarily from the Bisbee Homeless Shelter. So that was our first tie-in with the Bisbee Homeless Shelter officially. So we said, okay, we like your idea, go ahead and write the grant. He wrote the grant, he got the money, we bought the greenhouse, then we needed a location. So we had been looking all around. It took us almost a year to finally find a place to put it, and we wound up putting it here on this property. But the owner wouldn't lease us the property without the whole building and everything else. So we said, okay, it's a good deal, it's a good location, it's visible to the highway. What can we do with the building? Well, I had always had a long-term goal of having a sustainable cafe and market, and it went along with other group work that Community Synergy Solutions had been engaged with the community through the Homeless Task Force, and also the Cochise County Health Improvement Plan that was done by the Health Department to figure out what are the biggest health problems in our county. And they did a big survey, and the survey came back with three main goals for the county, but then within each community they had their specific goals. So in Bisbee, the number one issue for the public that they addressed was homelessness, also healthy eating and active living, and the economy. Those were the three things. Those all kind of fell under what CSSC was already sort of wanting to work with, and I mentioned the Homeless Task Force, which was another group that had been formed to address problems with homelessness and lack of housing, lack of jobs, lack of job training, lack of advocacy for these people. And so we decided to try to address all of those issues in one store, one project, and that is Ecoasis. So what we do here in the classroom, our third component, is education for people that are experiencing homelessness. We want to open that up to the public here in October, but so far we've been partnering with several other organizations in the county to provide education and also other resources to this project. So over the last few months, Arizona at Work has been doing a series of classes called Keys. Basically, there's like 8 classes. There's communication, computer basics, how to write a resume, how to do a job interview, dress for success, all those things that are sort of just getting you back into the workforce. And so we provide those classes here every week. We also are working with the U of A Cooperative Extension for health, and they're providing monthly health-based classes in nutrition or healthy eating or diabetes or how to look at labels in the grocery store. So those are happening here. We also have been doing GED classes, and we want to expand. So we're trying to do more partnering, getting more classes in. We want to have at least one health class per week. We want to have at least one healthy cooking class per month, and then continue to have the healthy living courses or sustainable living, which is the keys. Those would be weekly. So once a person that's from the shelter has gone through a whole series of our classes that we offer, then they're eligible for on-the-job training in our cafe and market. So the market is the fourth component. We do a farmer's market extension store, and we try to source as much local food as possible. So every Saturday after the farmer's market, the farmers will come to us and they'll bring us their leftover food, or they'll bring extra for us, and sometimes they come during the middle of the week and drop stuff off. But it's another location for farmers to sell their product, and the way we do it is we put it on consignment. So the farmers are still the ones taking the risk. So it's really a farmer's market extension. It's not like us buying and reselling. It's like us providing a location for them to sell their stuff, and we provide the staff and the facility to do that, and for that we charge 20%. So they take 80%, we take 20%, they get to price their own stuff and decide what to bring, but they take the risk. So that's our market portion. So back to the job training. So then people from the shelter, they go through the education, then they're available to or eligible to work in the store. Either, we have some people that just wash dishes. That's the most they can do right now. They water plants, or they're cooking, or they're running the register, or they're learning how to rotate the food and deal with the customers. And it's really putting a population back in touch with the community and kind of breaking down that barrier or the stigma between homelessness and not. And so it's been really great. Like, for instance, Brenda, who won't mind me talking about her because she's done many interviews, she has just been like our star employee. She started working with us before we were even open. She was volunteering in the greenhouse. She worked super hard. As soon as we opened, she was on board as a paid employee, and she's been working her butt out ever since. And she's met so many people in the community. When she did move out of the homeless shelter a couple months ago, the community was right there to help her move in. She got everything she needed just donated, because they all had met her through here and they loved her, and she continues to have people reach out and say, hey, do you need a TV or a couch or whatever? And so it's really cool to make those community connections and to build friendships, and that's the most rewarding part. So in the end, after building the greenhouse and setting up the store, and we had to remodel and do a lot of things, write more grants to get more money to get the store going. It's been a long process. At the end of the day, I realized it's all about the people. It's the day-to-day people you work with. Yes, our goal is sustainability and economic development and environmental protection, but it all starts with the people and it ends with the people. And so that's what I've really learned, and I've learned so much about the people we work with, and that is the rewarding part too, when you see people's lives change, when you see people making better decisions, learning about healthy eating, learning how to prepare food that they've never even known about. Most of our folks that come to us from the shelter, they don't know what quinoa is, or kale, or chard, or but they're curious, and after a while of getting more comfortable, they start asking, and they start learning, and they start tasting, and at first they're like, well, now they're starting to actually enjoy the healthy food, and they like going out to the greenhouse or to the garden beds and picking the food from the garden and bringing it inside. It's rewarding. They saw it go from a seed to a plant to a shelf to a customer that's smiling at them saying thank you, and then they feel like they have meaning, and that is a huge part, is giving hope back to somebody that maybe lost hope or lost motivation. And so there's many components to Ecoasis, but at the end of the day, it's about sustainable living, and to be sustainable you have to have a reason to go on, and a reason to want to care about yourself in order to then care about the environment. I've seen more good things come out of our volunteers and our students from the shelter than, pretty much anyone else. They built this place. It was their hard work that got all these walls painted and laid all the gravel down in the, shovel by shovel for the greenhouse, and just so many little projects that it's taken, and we couldn't have done it without all the volunteer help that they provided too.
So it really
Big
really
no.
grew out of like one kind of idea, and then it just kind of branched out. Kind of an interesting business model. Like, I haven't seen it very much anymore.
No, it's very unique.
How do you think that kind of business model, the viability is? Can that be duplicated?
Well, this is definitely a trial run to see if it's going to be sustainable financially. We did start off with a small loan from the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona to purchase equipment, and that was about $30,000. Then we had the greenhouse grant, which was $15,000, and that was also from the Community Food Bank of Southern Arizona. So we got a grant and a loan, and they kind of were our first funders. And then we got some money from the Arizona Community Foundation, just under $5,000, to help us get the education program going. And so then our last main funder was the Legacy Foundation of Southeast Arizona, and they are contributing $50,000 in a 2-piece segment, so $25,000 the first year and $25,000 the second year. And we did write some other grants and things that didn't come through. So we started out under budget, I guess you would say, or under capitalized. When you're talking about employing people, those numbers start to add up very quickly. And in order to make those wages, we have to be selling stuff. The community has to be supporting it. And so far, the community has shown much love for us, but we're not quite meeting our numbers. So to break it down for you, with what we have going on here, it would take roughly $500 a day to be fully financially stable. That covers all of our loan payments, our rent and utilities, all of our food costs, all of our employee costs, and at the end of the day, we're taking home a few bucks. So over time, we'd be making money, especially once the loan's paid off. Then it actually starts to be a revenue generator that can go into other projects, because it is a nonprofit. So we feel that we will be able to make that number, $500 a day. Right now we're hovering between, well, it varies from day to day, week to week, but we'll say on average, I would put it at $350. So we're not far off. We did just start, we got our brochures made with our printed menu, which I think will help a lot. We're going to be doing deliveries now, and also we're going to be advertising more of our catering. We've done several small caterings and they've gone really well. And that's a good money maker for us. So we think if we expand our catering, start doing deliveries, and get our menu out there for people so they know what we have, then we can make up that extra $150 a day, So I think it is financially viable. We're in a decent location because we are on the highway. It's not in any neighborhood besides Tin Town, which is a low-income neighborhood. We do take food stamps, which is great. You can come in and buy farmers market produce with your food stamps, and that's not currently available at the Bisbee Farmers Market. So it makes that food source available to those that previously couldn't buy it because they're limited to using food stamps. Anyway, if it does work out, our goal would be to set up other Ecoasis-like stores. They don't have to be called Ecoasis, and we don't have to run them, but we would like to help other communities along our border region that's within our mission to set up their own stores. So we think one in Hereford and one in Elfrida would be good locations. And like I said, I don't know if we would be the ones to actually operate them under our umbrella, but we do have the model now, so we could easily help a group that was ready to start their own. And it doesn't have to be associated with homelessness. It could be associated with training high school students or any group of students if you wanted to incorporate the training piece, which I think is valuable. But it could just be a store, or it could just be a restaurant. Although I will say it's very difficult to have prices low enough for people in a restaurant if you're using local product. Because it is more expensive than the commercial stuff you buy at the store, or if you buy from a large company, it's a lot cheaper to go conventional, and that's what restaurants do because you can't afford it otherwise. And that's why we're making it work through growing a lot of our own stuff.
You mentioned Bisbee. I think Bisbee happens to be a great location for something like this. It seems like Bisbee is very environmentally conscious, very artistic. It seems like a very good location. And you said you got a lot of support.
Yeah, the community seems really welcoming to the store and to Ecoasis. It's just not a habit yet. We have only been around for 5.5 months. So in those 5.5 months, our gross revenue has been about $53,000. And of that, I believe 45,000 has gone to payroll. So that's great. We're paying that much more in the community, which is then getting shared out in the community again. And then about, I'd say 16,000 of it goes directly back to the farmers through their sales. So it's not huge, but it's 16,000 that wasn't getting sold before. I think that Bisbee is, also our co-op closed last year. So all of the bulk food that we offer, because we do sell stuff that's resale. So we have a bulk section where we're buying stuff from Frontier or UNFI, which are big suppliers, and the community will come in for those things too, because it's not available anywhere else locally to buy a big bag of rice that's organically grown, and instead of buying it prepackaged. So people definitely like having that. And we do the bulk herbs and teas and a few other items that we do purchase from the companies.
So you work with the homeless. Now I think that's something that a lot of businesses might shy away from, but it's something that you've embraced here. And I think you've talked a little bit about the challenges and benefits of that. If you have anything more to say on that.
Well, we kind of knew coming into it that it was going to be a high rate of turnover, but it's designed that way because we don't really want to keep people here. We want to train more people, and we want to give them a good reference to move on to a better paying job. I can't say any of it's been a bad experience. We haven't really had a whole lot of no call, no show or anything like that. It could be different with other homeless shelters, or if you were working with people right off the streets, that would be different. But we have it very well structured. We're in a strong partnership with the management of the shelter. So they have their own rules in place where the people that are living there have to be following certain guidelines. They have to be doing their contribution to both the shelter by keeping it clean or working what they call a tier 2 position, which could be being a cook or cleaning or doing laundry or answering phones. So they're already getting some sort of responsibility there. And then they also have to be getting services if they need them, any kind of behavioral health or financial credits, like, you know, if they're eligible for Social Security but they're not collecting it, they have to go get all that in line. So it gives them an opportunity just from the shelter to kind of get their feet back underneath them, and then we're providing the next step. So once they're kind of meeting all of their rules over there, then the management there will send them up here to our classes, and they're required to go to them. Otherwise, they have to be out looking for a job or somehow trying to better themselves. I think it's working for us because it's such a tight structure with the shelter. It's a great shelter, and they do more than just that. They've changed their name to the Bisbee Resource Center. So they provide other resources and help besides just a place to stay. And they also do a really great community dinner every Wednesday, and they'll serve up to 150 people. And this is all being done by those who are staying at the shelter.
It's an amazing structure working between you guys and the shelter to get people back up. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys also work with local farmers, local growers and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
establishing those relationships. You know, how's that working? Has that been a really great partnership? How's that affected the business? How's that?
I think it's been really great. Still got a lot of room to grow. Like I said, we've generated somewhere around $16,000 in revenue for the local producers. So those who are engaging with us, not all of the local farmers have started vending through us because they're skeptical about, you know, the consignment factor, you know, why can't they just buy directly from us? And part of that is because we're trying to not do a ton of resale because we are a nonprofit. So we don't want to be just another store that's buying and reselling. We want to be providing the space for farmers. So we, in a way, are a farmer's market of our own. But I think for those who have engaged and really been steadily dropping off their goods, people, customers, they want to be able to rely on a certain product. So, you know, we have people that will come in every other week and go do their main grocery shopping. And if they come in and we don't have any eggs, they're going to stop looking to us for eggs or milk or whatever it is. And so those vendors that have been consistent, they're realizing what a benefit this is. And I'm so glad because when we first got going, I had a lot of the farmers saying, like, yeah, we want to see you succeed. We want to help you out. And I just was like, how do I change that perspective so that they realize that we're actually helping them out and we're providing a very good service for them. They can keep their prices low so that more sells, and we're only asking for that 20%, which probably doesn't even cover the cost of keeping their food on the shelves and also managing it and going through and making sure it's still fresh and all of that. So the ones that have stuck with us since the beginning are starting to really see the benefit for them, and I'm hoping that they'll share that with other farmers and say, hey, you should really try it out. I'm pulling in an extra $100 a week or whatever, which is $400 a month, and some of our vendors are doing more than that. So it has definitely impacted their economic situation. And I think it'll only increase as more customers get familiar with what's here and get used to shopping here. Because we've got the product, we just need more customers.
And I like that idea of local growers coming that can kind of come in here and bring in their goods. I think it's important for people to just get that much closer to their food. I've been doing a lot of reading and stuff like that on just people getting to know the sources of their food. You go to like a chain store, Walmart or whatnot, you don't know where any of that comes from. Has there been any kind of engagement between customers and farmers? Is there any kind of contact or?
Well, most of our customers know their farmers or vendors through the farmers market. We have people that just live in Bisbee that aren't farmers, but maybe they had a bumper crop of grapes. They grow grapevines at home. We had that happen a couple weeks ago. Someone brought us 40 pounds of beautiful organic red seedless grapes that they grew down the street. So we're so happy to put those on the shelf. And that's something that you won't find at the farmer's market because that person has a full-time job. They're not going to go sit out on their Saturday off and vend, but they can still generate a little extra money by dropping their stuff off here. And likewise, the community wouldn't have that product otherwise. And maybe it would go bad. Who knows? What else have we had? A lot of people bring in figs right now. We've had a lot of apricots just from people in their backyards like, hey, I want to see if I can make a few extra bucks here. So it's kind of cool for that too. You don't have to be a big time producer. You might just have extra tomatoes from your garden and people want to buy that.
Is there anything else that you might want, when watching this, any other things you might want the local Bisbee community to know? Any YouTube viewers that you might want to know? Anything else that you might want to?
I just want people to know that if you like what we're doing here, if you support sustainable living and helping our local economy and assisting those who are experiencing homelessness, please come shop at Ecoasis. come have lunch here, support us. We need the financial support. We also love donations, and it's all tax deductible. So if you want to make a contribution, we would be happy to receive it. And also, if you have expertise in any certain area and you'd like to maybe provide something through the classroom, we would welcome that as well. Or help with the greenhouse. We always need volunteers to manage the greenhouse. We're getting ready to transfer part of it over to aquaponics. So that's where you grow with fish. And we could definitely use some help with that. So, you know, we really want more community members to get involved with what we're doing. And if you'd like to contact us, you can email me at serenacasey at csscbisbee.org. Or you can stop by, or you can give us a call. 520-981-3739 is my personal phone, or the store is 520-432-8098. If you have a small party or anything like that, we do the catering, and that really helps us out. Come by, pick up a menu, call in an order. We wanna serve you. We wanna be there at your next party. We're really famous for our egg salad. I know it's a simple thing, but people love our egg salad because we use local eggs. Brenda makes fresh mayonnaise for every batch, and so it's just super fresh. We use organic sunflower oil. You almost can't find mayonnaise made with that anymore. It's a really good egg salad sandwich. So.
Excellent. It was a great interview. Thank you. Yeah, so this an amazing model for a sustainable business right here in Bisbee, in Tin Town, Bisbee.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, definitely stop down there. This is amazing. Dollars here spent here are just right into the community.
Mm-hmm.
They support local growers.
Mm-hmm.
This is sustainability at work right here. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.